Welcome to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and thank you so much for joining us today. It is going to be, I think, one of the most important shows we've done. And of course, all the shows that we have had have really been an honor and privilege to have guests on our show, stroke survivors, people that are doing testimonials. But this is really an important show. It's about recovery. In recovery in the stroke and aphasia world, but it really branches out to everybody. Everybody who's had an illness or had a family member that has had an illness really touches you. And if it hasn't touched you now, it's really important for you to think about what if. And that's really a scary thing of what if. But as I was driving in today, Tracy Lawrence, one of our guests from Grand Family Planning, and we traveled in together because we both live in New Jersey. We were really talking about the importance of preparation and to be prepared for the what if. It's really a tough conversation to have, but it is so important. It really does streamline the situation for if something does happen. It really makes it so much simpler. So today we have a wonderful Assemblyman Michael Fitzpatrick. Sorry. Michael Fitzpatrick on the show, and he was invited through Judy Marlowe Rotway, one of our Language of Love board members. He is the assemblyman in her area, and what a wonderful gentleman, and really, I'm really honored to have him talk about the politics and how politics and the political world, how politics touches the recovery. And how we can all join together, because that is our motto here on Stroke of Luck and ReneMarie's Language of Love. Is it's not us against you. It's really how can we help each other to better the recovery, to better each person that has suffered a stroke or a brain trauma or a heart attack, or how can we join together to help to better their lives in recovery? And like I know, that our motto with ReneMarie's Language of Love and the Stroke of Luck is that love is the answer. And that when you surround somebody with the love, it makes recovery so much smoother and really better. And Tracy will tell you a wonderful story about how she brought love into her mother's life. And she told it to me on the way in. I'm not going to say too much more because I look forward to her sharing that piece of information. So this is a really important show as far as I'm concerned, and it's not going to solve the world right now. But as I said in our press, it really is important once you become aware of something that you starting the conversation, and really because we all have a right and importance to make a difference and to really impact the world. So it's our honor and privilege to have this opportunity today. So once again, this is really an important show. Before we begin the show, we had a pop-up friend, and I said this before and I'll say it again, that she is welcome no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. She's a part of our team as a representative of the American Stroke Association. We want to welcome Nancy to our show today. Hi, Nancy.
Hi. How is everybody?
Good.
Miss you.
Good.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and we're honored and privileged to, call you a friend and family member of the Stroke of Luck.
I feel the same.
So, and before we talk to Nancy a little bit, we have Judy Marlowe Rotway, who you can't do without Judy. It wouldn't happen without Judy. All really important part of the team, and together, on this Stroke of Luck, we really have built a family of supporters, and that is really what's important, is to have the support and have the family, and we just love what we do because we do it together. So we do it together. So Nancy, how have you been?
Everything is good.
How's married life?
Well, see, we'll be married 7 months on Monday.
Wow. Wow.
Real newlywed.
Wow, that's
It's all
awesome.
good.
That's
Very
awesome. So have you spoken to Sharon lately? Have you been in communication? Because I know, as we said on the telethon, that at Go Red for Women in Long Island, which Judy and I attended, Nancy was one of the people on the video that they did talking about her stroke experience, because Nancy has suffered a stroke as well. So have you spoken to Sharon lately?
No, she's been busy with her new position.
I know.
Everything,
I know.
But she, I know she's doing good.
Yeah, Judy's, what's that? Sharon's wonderful because Sharon, she always sends me pieces of information. Now let's talk a little bit about May. May is Stroke Awareness Month.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. And are we okay? You could talk to her. Yeah, we just want to, we're having a little technical. We just want to make sure that on the top.
Hold the button in.
Sorry, everybody.
We just want to make
when you're live.
we're live on
We're good.
internet TV. Just doesn't
It's all
matter.
good. It's all good.
So we want to make sure that you hear Nancy because she's really an important part. So
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's
So
all right.
it's May is Stroke Awareness Month.
Yes, that's correct.
And we all have a passion to bring awareness to the stroke world, and not to the stroke world, but to the general
Everyone.
population, to
Everybody.
make them understand how strokes is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States. But this is what really affects me, is it's the 1st leading cause of disability.
Yes.
So it's really scary to think that many people in their lives have suffered a stroke, and not only suffered a stroke, but have to live on with a different way and different path, and it's scary.
It
It's
is
scary.
it is very scary because I have some small disabilities due to the stroke, as do you. But you know what? You have to, again, like I always say, you have to be positive about it. You push yourself forward. Yes, some days is a little harder than others, but when you look at the overall scheme of things, we're very, very lucky people, and that's
Very
why
blessed.
we're doing what we're doing to
Yeah.
help others understand they too can get past it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all feel that, because we're, sorry, I have to move, because we're blessed and we have this opportunity, it's our responsibility to really come back and make awareness. It's
Yes.
almost, I'm going to say it wrong. I always say it wrong, but you make lemonade out of lemons,
Yeah,
Right?
You absolutely
right? So,
do. No, and that's exactly what we're doing.
so today we're going to be talking about insurances and recovery, and how the political world, because of some of the politics and litigation and legislation, how it affects recovery. Do you have any thoughts about that? I know it's something I'm springing on you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, because again, not all insurances cover what you may need to get the rehabilitation, physically, mentally, your speech, whatever the case might be. And not everything is covered, or it's only covered for a certain period of time. And yet you, as that survivor, may need to go a little further than that to get where you need to be. And without that help, it's very difficult to do unless you have your own determination to continue. But still, something needs to be done to help us a little bit further with that, because I find in other friends and people I've come in
Yeah.
contact with that have had strokes, I see the disabilities big time,
Yeah.
big time,
Yeah.
and it's sad.
I know. I really just got involved with a woman named Corinne. She is the Governmental Relations New Jersey representative for the American Stroke Association. I believe Robin is the New York, this
Yes.
area's Robin.
Yeah, I believe
because
it's
I've been, Corinne hooked me up with Robin. She really is teaching me. They're teaching me about politics and legislation. And actually, one of the bills on the table right now is about telemedicine. That's where, almost like a Skype or a video, a phone, a doctor could hook up and start talking to a patient that they that has suffered a stroke, because time is of the essence when
Oh,
you've had a
absolutely.
stroke. So to not have to wait until they get to the hospital. Now, in this area, it's not so vital. It is, time is vital, but in other areas where it takes an hour, 2 hours to get to the hospital, it really could save someone's life.
Absolutely.
And I just sent to my legislation, a memo from the American Stroke Association saying, like, we have to support this
Yeah.
because it really is something that could save someone's life. And that's
Absolutely it can.
and that's what we're going to talk to Assembly Michael Fitzpatrick about, is how we can work that process, because I honestly, as much as I am learning, I have no idea how it operates and how it actually passes,
Exactly. I don't
because,
either.
and
I
it
agree.
takes so long. I think this one began in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I think it began. So it takes so long. So, and the legislation on the table is about getting insurances to cover it.
Right.
So that's where politics and insurance go hand in hand, and the political world has to pass it, I guess, in legislation to make the insurances cover it. It's really detailed, and it's really
Very complicated, I think. And
You want to
it's hard.
read the congressman's letter?
Yes, go ahead. The congressman. No, you can read it. Can you have your glasses? What's his name? Congressman.
That's the problem. Say his last name.
No, I know. Friesenhausen. I believe that's how you say his name. Rodney. I met him, Mr. Friesenhausen. I met him in Wanakee Reserve where I work, and I really respect him because he came to speak to everybody, and actually there was a lot of different questions to him, and he took notes. He had his assistants take notes, and he followed up on every single message and note that he wrote down. And I saw some people that he spoke to that he took care of right away. And he actually
That's
sent
beautiful.
me, I presented to him a package about the legislation on the table, about the telemedis, and he sent me this note.
Dear Ms. Adams, thank you for contacting me in support of the H.R. 2799, the Furthering Access to Stroke Telemedicine, FAST Act. I appreciate having the benefit of your views as I share them. I am pleased we had the opportunity to meet during my visit to Wanakee Reserve. Introduced by Rep. Morgan Griffith, VA, H.R. 2799 seeks to expand the definition of an originating site for stroke telehealth service reimbursement under the Medicare program. Additionally, this bill prohibits any additional service fees for new sites. Please know that I am a co-sponsor of this legislation. Most recently, H.R. 2799 was referred to the Committee on Energy and Commerce and Ways and Means Committee. While I do not serve on these committees, I will be sure to remember your support should this legislation come before the full House of Representatives for a vote. Again, thank you for taking the time to meet with me. Rodney.
Yes.
That's very nice.
He was wonderful. And, that's what we really respect about politicians, that really are engaged in helping people. And doing my research for the show, I have found that Assemblyman Michael Fitzpatrick is of the same characteristics.
Yes,
And that's why
definitely.
we're really honored to have him as a guest today on the show. Could I know there's other bills on the table right now? Am I correct?
Yes.
So
Well,
Nancy, why don't you
you wanna
read
read
what
what
you
I've got?
have?
Yes.
And then Nancy, you could read. Judy could read ours, and then we're going to have to take a
a
quick break, and we're going to have to bring our guests on.
Okay.
But you read yours.
Okay, it says, since stroke can strike anyone at any time, the designation of 3 types of stroke hospitals will increase the ability of stroke care throughout New York State and will provide the patient with the most appropriate standard of care. Expanding the ability of early treatment is particularly crucial in rural communities that may have been limited by the ability of specialists, high-tech imaging equipment, and transportation services. The designation of acute stroke-ready hospitals in these communities will provide patients with a point of entry into the stroke system of care, which will have a direct impact on decreasing stroke-related ability. So,
Yeah, that's almost what we were talking about in the rural areas where people don't have access to a hospital. So how important the aspect is, and to have telemedis, and to have other hospitals around. So it really is
it's
important.
very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. Judy, what's
and
on
I
your
have
list?
I have 2 things. What does Medicare cover? States are required to cover certain benefits such as physician services, inpatient and outpatient hospital care, nursing home care, and may also choose to cover other categories of services such as prescription drugs, dental care, and rehabilitation. And I also have the Affordable Care Act. Would you like me to read that?
Yeah, you could read. ahead.
Makes affordable health insurance available to 32 million Americans
Wow.
who would otherwise be uninsured beginning in 2014. Allows Americans needing to purchase private insurance to do so through state-based insurance marketplaces called exchanges. Premium assistance would be available in the form of tax credits to make coverage affordable to low and middle income individuals and families. Those with the lowest incomes would receive coverage through their state's Medicaid program. Prohibits insurers from denying coverage to individuals with pre-existing conditions beginning September 23, 2010 for children and in 2014 for adults. Prohibits insurers from charging higher premiums because of an individual's pre-existing condition. Allows young adults to stay on their parents' policy until age 26 and eliminates lifetime limits in insurance plans and phases out annual dollar limits on essential benefits.
Wow. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff on the table, and you know, I don't know what we can do, you know, as individuals, because you and I have suffered a stroke. So when your dad suffered
my
a
dad.
stroke, so we're all engaged in supporting stroke patients and really preventing strokes, because we know that 80% of strokes can be prevented.
Yes, they can.
So that's the key to pushes us to make a difference in the stroke world.
And I think we are.
Yes, we are. We are.
We
We
as a
have.
team,
We
I think we are really making some strides that never before have been
Accomplished.
even thought about.
yes, because our team of people know is not in our vocabulary word.
That's for sure.
It's not. It's not. It may be like, okay, we have to alter. We got to do something different. Okay, we listen, but you know, it's like, okay, how are we going to do this? No, we need to do this. Like, how can
Yeah.
we get there? So it'll be good. You're coming back on the fourth segment.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so when we come right back, we have Tracy Lawrence from Grand Family Planning. She really has experienced what it is like to be right in the midst of the insurance and the recovery and the things you've had to deal with insurance when you're dealing with recovery. And then we have Assemblyman Michael Fitzpatrick, who is an honored guest to be on this show. And he's going to try to teach us a little bit about the politics world. From me, the general public who doesn't understand that world too much and is really trying to learn the process. And I just found out when Mr. Fitzpatrick came into the green room that his mother suffered a stroke. So that really is really a tie to our organization. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com. Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Hi, welcome back to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. This is what I've been waiting for. Everyone knows. I've really been waiting to have this conversation and start the conversation, I should say, because like I said, we're not going to even probably put a dent in it, but we're gonna start trying to open the can, a little bit to understand and to really make an impact. But first you have to understand how to make an impact before you can even begin to make an impact. So that's why we invited our two wonderful guests to the show today. Let me introduce them. We have Tracy Lawrence from Grand Family Planning, who has been a part of our team for a long time, and she was part of the telethon, and we're really honored and privileged to have you here today, Tracy.
Thanks so much, Renee. It's great to be here.
Yes, it really is important. And then we have Assemblyman Michael Fitzpatrick, who is from Smithtown, am I correct?
Yes.
The Smithtown area. We're really honored that you were willing enough to spend a little bit of time to just try to teach us a little bit of and educate us on the political world and how it operates and how it works, because I know that if you're involved with politics, you understand the world. Me as a lay person, as just an average person who most of the population doesn't understand about politics. And I really think that people have the wrong perspective of politicians because, of course, there's good and there's bad. So we're going to talk about all that stuff, but I want to welcome you to the show today.
Tracy, great to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So before we begin, just give us a brief history about each of your bios a little bit, Michael.
Sure.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Well, I'm serving in my 14th year, my
Wow.
7th term in the New York State Assembly, elected in 2002. I'm the ranking minority member of the Housing Committee. I serve on higher education,
Wow.
labor, and really enjoy it
Wow.
very much. I don't mind the long drive to work, you might say. We're in session 6 months of the year, from January to the end of June, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week, depending
And
on the
how long
calendar.
is your drive? Like, where do you live
It's a
in?
3.5-hour drive.
Wow.
Yeah, but you stay in Albany
Oh,
for
okay.
a couple of nights and,
Okay.
and then come home. The rest of the year, I work another job. I'm a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley,
Oh, okay.
where I work with my brother John. I basically handle the retirement accounts in his practice. That gives me the flexibility to serve in the Assembly as well.
Right, right.
Prior to the Assembly, I served on my town council in the town of Smithtown for 15 years.
Wow.
So I've always enjoyed having one foot in the public sector, but also a foot in the private sector, and I think
Right.
that I bring more to the table because of that.
Yeah, because you understand both. You can't understand something unless you walk the walk.
Correct.
And it's, you know, it's
Correct.
really good that you were aware of that, you know.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, tell us a little bit about your grand family planning, and so we know, but our audience, so that they can understand.
Right. I was, most of my life, I was a graphic artist until my parents got sick. And then I was thrown into this arena of having to understand their finances, their illnesses, what kinds of treatments were available, what kinds of scenarios were available for their care, how to deal with long-term care emergencies, where to find the assets to deal with long-term care emergencies,
Right.
how to deal with their various prognoses, how to deal with the medical establishment, all the legal issues, you know, how you need to prepare to advocate for someone, because we have HIPAA laws, which a lot of people are blissfully unaware of, because if you're healthy, you don't run into it.
Right, right.
But the HIPAA laws can be a real headache, because while they're designed to protect us, they prevent us from advocating for people we care about when they can't speak for themselves. Right. So in my journey with my parents, I realized that there were literally millions of people who were going to be facing what I had faced. And
you're a go-getter. Like you just, if someone's going to challenge you, or you try to find out the information. But a lot of the population, in general public, they don't even know where to begin to look for the.
And that's exactly
right.
right.
They don't even know begin.
Right, right. And my nature is to solve problems.
Right.
You know, I've always, you know, I like to look at a situation and try to figure out what's the best way to take it on and to solve the problem. Right. So, and I've applied that to just about every aspect of my life. And so when it came to helping my parents, you know, there were a lot of challenges, but I always tried to find the best possible answers. And my nature is, I'm also an educator.
Right.
So I've taught in the graphic arts field, and I've always been very good at being able to articulate difficult concepts in ways that people can understand.
Right, right.
So I took all of that experience and I created Grand Family Planning to help people understand how important it is to plan for that time when someone in your life is going to get sick.
Yes.
It could be your parents, it could be your children, it could be you.
Yes.
But someone is going to get sick.
Right.
And nobody wants to look at that because, you know, it's human nature not to want to look at something
Because you don't want to draw it in. You think that by talking about it, if you ignore it, then nothing will happen.
Right. If you ignore it, it'll go away.
Right,
but
right,
no, it
right.
it will catch up with you eventually.
Yeah.
And, you know, when a crisis occurs, that's the worst time to try and figure all that stuff out.
Right.
Because you're so busy dealing with the crisis,
You're right.
you're making a lot of other decisions that are probably bad.
Yeah.
You know, some of them might be okay, but, you know, you are so vulnerable, and so many terrible things can happen. And in my journey, I encountered a lot of people who, when you look at them, you would say, you know, if only I'd met them a year or so ago, I could have saved them a lot of aggravation. I could have saved them from what they're going through right now.
Right.
So I wanted to create this entity that would help people to, first of all, be aware of what they needed to do before tragedy struck, and then help them to prioritize what they needed to do, and then put them together with a team of professionals to help them accomplish all those things they need to do.
Right. And that's what Grand Family
And that's what
Planning.
Grand Family Planning is about.
Yeah. So, Assemblyman, how, you know, just I don't know how to say this, like in a layman's term, teach us a little bit about how we as the general public could work together with yourself, a politician,
Mm-hmm.
or any politicians, to make a difference? Like, how do our voices heard? How does that happen?
I think, Renee, it's very simple. You start with a goal. What is the goal? In watching the prior segment, there's a goal here to, let's just, for argument's sake, increase coverages for different illnesses or different,
Right.
the necessity for more services to be covered under insurance. Well, that would be called an insurance mandate. And we have had mandates. It's one of the reasons, quite frankly, why insurance costs go up is, people want more and more things covered. Okay, if that's the goal, well, you craft legislation in order to do that. How is that accomplished?
Yes, because I don't understand. Like you say, how do you craft the legislation? Like,
well, we have people who do that as a profession. They're called bill drafters.
Okay.
But it starts with an idea. What is the goal? And oftentimes people come to lobby us. Lobby, that
Right.
has
Yeah.
a bad connotation, but it shouldn't, because everyday people come with, it's how you redress your grievances, as we saw, as the founding fathers said. They
Right.
created this form of government of checks and balances. People should be able to go to their government to redress their grievances. Well, we need more coverage for certain types of illnesses. Okay. People come together. They talk either through an organization like the American Stroke Association. There are many types of associations out there. They come with an idea. That idea is then, by us as legislators, we go to our bill drafters. This is what we want to accomplish.
What's a bill drafter?
A bill drafter. We
oh,
have
that's-
in
that's
New York.
the-
That's
okay.
an individual, an attorney. We have what's called the Bill Drafting Commission, and each legislator has an assigned bill drafter. I take that concept, that idea, the goals, the objectives. This is what we want to cover. Go to the bill drafter. They will draft, literally, the legislation. That legislation is then referred to a committee, probably the health committee or the insurance committee. Then that's when the lobbying starts. Who's for it? Who's against it? What are the pros? What are the cons? There's a cost involved, so naturally, the insurance companies will be interested. You're going to see an increase in cost, an increase in premium. The advocates will say we need this because it's not meeting our needs. We're finding it very expensive to handle costs like this out of pocket as opposed to getting it covered.
Right.
As we all know, the healthcare industry is changing rapidly. Obamacare, and it's continuing to change, and we're going to see more changes coming. We have conversations, for example, just last Friday, we meet with the Suffolk County Medical Society. We meet twice a year and talk about issues that are of importance to the doctors.
Is that, I'm sorry, Judy,
Yeah.
is that an association, the Medical Society?
Yeah, the
Is
medical-
that an association from all the doctors and nurses
Sure,
in
sure.
the community?
Yeah, you have the New York State Medical Society, and each county, most counties will have their own chapter, and it's very helpful to us because I'm not a doctor, so what is on their
Right.
mind? What's nice about what I do is I'm involved in a number of different issues, a number of different areas of interest. Sometimes you get very proficient in some, even expert at some, but you can't in everything.
Right.
And that's where lobbying comes in. People advocate for or against different types of legislation. So if we craft a bill, draft legislation to mandate increased coverage, and then it's referred to a committee, it goes on the register, and that's when the different interest groups and stakeholders, if you will, now know that there is a bill before the Assembly and or the Senate,
Right.
and then your phone rings and
Right.
people want an appointment to come in and talk to you about this bill,
Right.
for or against.
One of
What
the-
are the issues with regard to this new mandate or insurance mandate that you're advocating for? And then we'll see. Meetings between the stakeholders can happen usually with the staff of the
Right.
chairperson of the particular
Right.
committee involved. And if there are differences, you work them out. And in New York State, we have to have a unified bill. That means an identical bill, different number,
Right.
but an identical bill in the Assembly and the Senate.
Wow.
And both of those bills have to be passed, and then it goes to the governor for signature.
And what if the governor doesn't want to sign?
Well, he can veto the bill. That happens all the time.
All that work that everybody
Well,
did.
it's not all for naught. The governor will give his specific objections to the bill in his veto message. And, okay, what are the governor's concerns?
Right.
Now, in a sense, you go back to the drawing board and
Start over.
not start over necessarily, Judy, but fix those particular objections that the
Right.
governor has. And then, okay, a new bill or an amended bill is drafted. And that we may take it up again next year. Most of the vetoes are issued after the session concludes because the governor gets, and I'm sure this is the same in New Jersey as well, hundreds and hundreds of bills
Yeah.
Sure.
are passed each year, and they go over in tranches, and the governor's staff then reviews them.
Right.
And then, they're either signed or vetoed.
Right.
So you just go back, if it is vetoed, all right, what were the governor's objections? And then usually next session, the sponsor of the bill will work on meeting those objections and amending the bill and
Wow.
referring the new
It's
bill
such
to
a
a committee.
huge process.
It is, well, it can be lengthy, it can be cumbersome, it at times can be complex, depending on the issue you're dealing with. But the wheels of government do grind slowly, and that's for a reason. We're talking about, I always say, I like what I do. One of the reasons I like what I do is because I am one of 150 members of the state assembly that cast votes affecting the lives of almost 19 million
Yeah.
New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
to me, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
It is.
So you take that very seriously. And so I, meet constantly with people here locally in my district office or at the Suffolk Medical Society or any other various interest group that invites us to a legislative breakfast. That's a very popular venue, the legislative
And
breakfast.
I will say that.
Or in Albany.
I will say that the fact that you're here today really speaks
We really
volumes
appreciate
and
it.
really, well, it really states what you're saying is true, that you do try to meet with people, and you do, big or small, you really find importance in meeting with people and sitting down with people.
This is a people business, Renee. Our most important function is every year we pass a state budget, and in New York State it is about $155 billion with a B dollars, and that covers everything from education, K to 12. That's
Right.
our number one priority. But our biggest expense is Medicaid, which is
Oh, yes.
a big part of Tracy's practice. Medicaid
we'll talk to about.
is our largest expenditure. Education is second, K to 12. But repairing your roads and bridges, everything is.
I just wanted to
part
mention
of
that
it.
the major area I feel that we need coverage in is when a person has a stroke and they have rehabilitation. Medicare says it's a short period of time. Now, some people don't recover that fast.
Correct.
And then you have to take them out of the facility they're in, if they're in a healthcare facility, which costs money to get a van. Then you have to take them to a physical therapist or a speech therapist or whatever it is. And it's very costly, and most people can't do it, and the person can't recover. So
Yeah, and I as an ambassador for strokes in New Jersey, I have, and even in Long Island, I have met many stroke survivors that are home in their wheelchairs,
Yeah.
and they're sitting, and there's nothing they could do because they don't have the finances, and
Right.
it's just sad.
It is. It's
and
very sad. And if only there was more money.
Yeah.
All it takes is money. And state governments, the federal government is almost $20 trillion in debt. The state governments
But-
are not flush with cash either.
But that shouldn't have anything to do with someone's health and recovery.
Tracy, it should not, but it does.
I know,
The
I
reality
know.
is there are many competing interests that we have to deal with, and to govern is to choose, and that's what we do. The governor puts out a preliminary budget, then the legislature, the governor proposes, the legislature disposes, and you have many competing interests.
Yeah.
Some are more powerful than others. That's politics. What breaks my heart every year when people come into lobby, especially for me, is the disabled community. because they're asking for crumbs, basically.
Yeah.
But there are interest groups out there in every state that, due to their political muscle, are able to get much more than they need and leave literally nothing for groups that are more deserving than
That
others.
has to be changed.
So that's, it should be changed, but you do that with awareness, you do that
Right.
with, people have to talk to their members of the Assembly and the Senate.
Tracy, I know you probably have a lot going on in your mind. What's your piece of information towards what we're talking about?
Well, my perspective is that, well, yes, there are a lot of people who fall through the cracks. But a big part of the problem is that too many of us are in denial that anything could ever happen to us.
Okay.
And the lack of preparation it's on us to a degree. We cannot expect our government to take care of us
That's true.
all in perpetuity, right? There isn't enough money in the world to do that for everyone, right?
So if they would have been prepared with their investments and their insurance policies to take care of them, afterwards we wouldn't have to go to the government and ask them
Correct.
for help. Or
Look,
the insurance.
There's give and take in everything, right? There's no, but the point is that I'm in a business that addresses the twin demons of human nature. Number one is denial. We all deny that anything bad could ever happen to us,
Right.
right? And then and then once you have that epiphany that oh, this could happen to me, then there's procrastination, right? We just want to I know I got to do something, but I'm not ready to do it right now. So what I try to say to people is look, health is a limited time offer, okay? Because on a long enough timeline, we are all going to age, if we're lucky enough, right?
Yeah.
And things are going to start to happen. So, why not be a grown-up, face up to the fact that something is going to happen to you at some time or another, and prepare for it. And if it doesn't happen by some miracle,
Thank God you had it.
Right.
all right. So, and there are ways to prepare for it that aren't going to hurt you, that are only going to support you and your family
But how do you,
if you do it right.
How do you, I guess I can answer this myself, but I'll ask it to you. I mean, because a lot of people, we spoke about this on the way in, a lot of people take advantage of a lot of people. A lot of people, especially in the Florida area, there's a lot of people who feed on the elderly and the sick.
Oh, yes.
And say that they're their friends and they'll help them, and they actually take advantage of them.
That's true.
So
Right.
how do you find someone who you
Great question.
trust, and you could because we have a business relationship.
Sure.
I use you, and that's how we began this process. But I trust you. Like if you tell me something, I trust what you're suggesting to me. I make the
course.
decision myself. You know
course.
that.
Of course.
But at least I trust the intake you have to me. How do you
Right.
find that?
That's a great question. And, it's different for everyone. My husband and I don't have kids, but we have nieces. And a few years ago, while my mom was still alive, I had the conversation with her. I said, to one of my nieces, who I thought was the most logical choice.
Right.
I said, honey, I hope you never have to be in this position, but there could come a time when, your uncle and I will not be able to advocate for ourselves. And we're going to need someone to speak for us.
Right.
Would you be that person for us? And she said, I'd be hurt if you asked anyone else. She said, I want to be that person for
That's
you.
beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I feel very blessed.
And some people do not have relatives that are close. Or,
Correct, but they have friends, or they have community. There are
Right.
people in their churches. There are people, and then there are people who are actually professional fiduciaries. There are people who do it for a living,
Right.
who have the qualification, who.
But you have to once again, they got to come with great recommendations.
Absolutely.
And
You have to do due
you
diligence.
Have to call people. Am I correct? Because
Yes.
you just can't. And the other, the other avenue is they could go to their politicians or their assemblyman or.
We occasionally do get calls from people who are in a crisis situation. I received a call from an old friends who were neighbors of mine. They moved to Florida, and they didn't know anybody in Florida.
Wow.
We'll
Wow.
call Michael.
Yeah.
So they called me. I end up calling their representative in Florida
That's very good.
and talking to their office, explaining the situation. They reached out to them. Problem was on
That's
its way
great.
to being addressed and
Wow.
Sure.
and solved. So that's what we do. I jokingly say for 6 months of the year I'm a legislator. For the other 6 months I'm a social worker when we're not in session. But that is a large part of what we do: advocate for people and act as their intermediary with state government and sometimes other levels of government as well. I get calls on, how do I get a passport, or or how can I visit the White House? And I'll call the congressman. We're a portal for lots of things, but it's true. But there's a great expression: people don't change when they see the light; they change when they feel the heat. And unfortunately, when a
Oh, that's a
crisis
true
happens,
statement.
That's great.
you're feeling the heat, but you should plan. You should. Why
is
why
really,
don't we
really-
do that? Human nature, as Tracy
Yeah.
says, and it's procrastination, it's denial, but it's also, I think, for baby boomers and probably for those that come after us, given our society, it's, oh gee, this may cost me some money, and I'd rather spend it on a vacation as opposed to proper planning. Better to need it and not, to have it and not need it than
That's so
to need it and
true.
not have it.
Right,
But,
right.
so there's a cultural aspect to this as well. We're in a society where people, I want what I want it now, and planning for the future, I'll do that tomorrow.
Right.
Somebody just told me that that the biggest cause of, one of the biggest causes of bankruptcy is the extended life that we're living, and people not planning
Outliving
for
their
it.
money.
Yes.
Not
Absolutely.
planning for it.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting how there are some things on the horizon that are coming up that I find on one level disturbing, but it is a product of this culture that we are in. Physician-assisted suicide. I brought this up with the Medical Society the other day. They said, are there any issues you want us to look at as a society? And I raised my hand and I said, physician-assisted suicide. This is something that's been in the news in other states.
Yeah.
Now New York is going to deal with it. And it may sound a little macabre, but it's one way I think they're going to deal with this problem of people getting very old and not having anyone to help. If people come down with these illnesses, and what's disturbing is that right now there's a version of the bill, giving people more end-of-life options. It's all about terminology. It is physician-assisted suicide, but it's also, some people want to
End-of-life options.
end-of-life options.
Yes,
Now
yes.
you have a tremendous, just in New York State, the unfunded liability for retiree health care, just for government employees. Where is this money going to come from? There is no trust fund established the way there is for a pension system.
Right.
Who's going to pay for this? So there are people who are advocating making these options available and quite frankly, I think it's a way to get people, people are going to be treated like farm animals. The minute the cow stops producing milk, you're on your way to the hamburger factory.
Like this Soylent Green.
yeah,
That movie from the 70s.
And as we become a more secularized society and the influence of whatever religious faith you are, as we get away from that and become more secularized, you're looking at some of these new options and people will be treated much differently. Now that's going to set up an interesting debate as we go forward, but one of the sponsors of the legislation, this blew me away when I heard this, but not only does in her legislation want to take into consideration the patient's interests, but the interests of the family who are adversely affected.
Yeah.
Whoa, wow, we're crossing a line here. But this is what's being discussed, and people are going to read more and more about this.
This has been really interesting, and you're both really educational. And sometimes you just need to be educated on how the process works to understand it a little bit. We're running out of time, but we're going to go over to the singing stage because we always like to end with a little bit of music. It's important in our lives because we believe that music brings a little love and light into the life.
Absolutely.
So we're going to close. We'll thank you over there, but thank you so much for we would love to have you back.
Happy to.
Judy
Definitely.
would love to book you in October. I think September,
Yes,
October.
September or
Both
October.
of you. We'd love to have a continuing roundtable discussion.
Sure.
You could drive in with me.
Great.
We'll be right back.
Be fun.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hogshair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly used in Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Hello, welcome back to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. I got to tell you, I was really, what a show. What a show. I really think it was one of our top informative shows and the awareness. And I really want to thank both of you, Mr. and Assemblyman and Tracy, for being a part of, the Language of Love Stroke of Luck show. It really is important information. And you both shared such educational information, and so I really want to thank you both.
Pleasure, thank you.
Thank you. And of course, Nancy and Judy, the family, and Tracy's a part of the family as well. And Michael Fitzpatrick, you're part of our family now too. Anyone that comes on the show is a part of the family. And we always end with our love for music. And I'm sure you'll know the words once we start singing. Here we go.
It's not karaoke.
Well, I can just sit around making music all day long. As long as I'm making my music, I can't do nobody wrong. And who knows, maybe someday I'll come up with a song that makes people want to stop the fussing and fighting just long enough to sing along. Let's go. I believe in music, and I believe in love. Let's go. Music is love, and love is music, if you know what I mean. And people who believe in music are the happiest people I've ever seen. So clap your hands, stomp your feet, and shake your tambourine. Find out what it really means to be young and rich and free. Let's go! I believe in music, and I believe in love. This is Mr. Assemblyman debut. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. Music is a universal language, and love is the key to find brotherhood, peace, and understanding, and living in harmony. So take your brother by the hand and sing along with me. Find out what it really means to be young and rich and free. Let's go! I believe in music. Take it away, Tracy. I believe in love. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you in 2 weeks on A Stroke of Luck. Let's go. Let's blow our kisses. I believe in music. Let's go, wave. And I believe in love. One more time. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Madhouse TV. God bless.